why are modern men single? Like what's keeping them single? Like I think the question itself it alludes to the fact that people are settling down, and I don't think that's not the point. There are people that are settling down. Again, I mean the data might show people are getting married less, but it's not like nobody is getting settling down. Like, there are people are settling down. There are people finding ways. Again, this is, I think the uniqueness of humans is the ability to adapt. And again, there's data that shows that I think let me read this part. This is OkCupid on OkCupid's data. OkCupid's data shows that women essentially find 81% of men unattractive. 81% of men unattractive.
I would agree with that.
Only 2% of guys in OkCupid were rated very attractive.
I'm not surprised.
And so like this speaks to the whole like, oh, like men aren't getting laid or men can't settle down and whatnot. Like it. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this being a phenomenon just because of online dating? Because I think with online dating, there's a different metric that we're not really that you're not subject to in real life, which is.
But that's how. But those are the
parameters.
But those are the parameters of how you're meeting.
Height. Now. Oh yeah, 6.0. Okay, check or plus, right? 6 feet plus. You're not gonna post your income on there. Right? I mean, like I don't know, some guys do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
six-figure club.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, how do you say? Like two commas, one comma, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, are you saying how like that's not that's only restricted to the online dating? That doesn't necessarily encapsulate the real. But that's where I'm gonna push back. It's like that's real life now, though. That like in terms of like meeting, like chill deal excluded, and maybe us we might be at the fringe of it. But like the next wave of relationships and people settling down is going to be this online dating kind of like
100%.
Yeah, I just came back from a wedding that of a mutual friend of ours, and I was sitting in a table of bunch of mutual friends, and I just found out one of the friends, she's getting married, and the way that she's getting married was through a dating app, and it's like, what? Like I would have not expected you to even concede to make concessions to the dating app, but it's like this is the world that we're now living in, and it's like I think it does speak like again like there is reality. I do agree, like the reality in terms of like the whole more organic ways of meeting people. I'm not gonna say that doesn't exist anymore, but like I don't think the data no longer will register that anymore. Right now it's just gonna be how do people predominantly meet.
And I think there's this like like women here, men here kind of deal like for online dating. And you can see how people really feel about it if you go on Reddit online dating section. You just read the stories, like how people are like not just men, like women too, like how they're both not satisfied with like the experience you're getting from like this online dating, because it really does become I mean, like I don't know, you like we've all I don't know about Del, but like if you tried online dating, you're not really getting a sense of like anything besides, the picture, besides what you're actually being fed.
It becomes a transactional nature. Like
exactly, very much so. Exactly,
very transactional exchange.
Very much so. And then if you're on the picky side, right? Like if you're on the picky side of if you're the pickier, right? Like exactly, you're done. That's it. I mean,
sign up for a monastery.
You're swiping right maybe once every. I mean, like 2%. That's 2 every 100. Holy cow!
I think it's just it made extremes of the already.
Yeah.
So like in reality, if you lined up 100 men, women would choose maybe the top 20. If you line up 100 women, guys would probably maybe pick top 60. On dating apps, women swipe one of the 100 people, men swipe
mostly
10 to 20, 30, 40, 50% of the 100. So I think it just made extremes of it, which honestly is making more people single longer if we really come to the topic. If
But
that's the
it's
medium of
yeah.
exchange, then it's gonna make everything more dramatic. It's gonna push back the age of marriage longer.
Yeah.
It's gonna make everything an extreme. Kind of to Benji's point is people are still getting married. That's still happening. People are still settling down, even outside of traditional ways of tying
Yeah.
the knot in a church, have a wedding. People are still quote unquote getting married or having long-term relationships, living in the same home, but everything's
Yeah.
being exaggerated due to
Yeah.
how culture has shifted.
Yeah.
And it's
I
the,
I
yeah, no, sorry.
Go ahead.
No. I wanted to speak just sort of like how what that culminates into the next. But what were you gonna say?
I was just curious, like, what would the data suggest, like, in real life interactions? Because I mean, which I doubt we're gonna have any solid data on this, but maybe Allah we'll see. But uh, like, how does online dating affect, marriage outcome versus real life?
Well, so I've actually listened to a bunch of like these. Okay, these are anecdotes. So again, these aren't actual data sets. So these are just stories, right? But these are basically attractive women saying, "Oh, I go out in the club, I go out in the bars, I put myself out there with a bunch of my friends, and no men approach me, or
Mm,
or the group, or
mm,
whatever." Like, and it's not a one-time phenomenon. It just repeats this notion of men not approaching attractive women. Obviously, you're gonna have pickup artists. You're gonna have people that cold talk, whatnot. People that are more confident, extroverted. But like generally, there's this all across the board. You're just not having organic conversations. And I think
mm,
to answer your point, like the effects and impact of what online dating and the momentum that has is causing is spilling over to more on real life interactions as
mm-hmm,
well.
mm-hmm,
And so I
mm-hmm.
mean, this goes into like the whole metaverse as well. But like, it really is like what you can, and like this is like again, this is the part where it's like we can present the data, and you can either be nihilistic and existential and be depressed of how the reality functions, or to the earlier point of this conversation, know the rules of the game, either
Play.
play by the rules or don't
Yeah.
play at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like the unfortunate reality,
You're playing anyways.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Even if you're not playing, you're actually watching.
Yeah.
the
Could be
game.
playing
So,
bad, but
might
you're
as well
playing.
play.
Yeah.
Might as well play.
where relationships are more leaning towards is into that transactional nature, because it's at on a digital level of like, I see picture, I get picture, I see dollars, I get dollars, I see big dick, I get big dick, I see big boobs, I get big boobs. Is a transactional nature of like, and then it becomes very, back in like 5,000, not even 5,000, like you want to go back to like more when it was a little bit more romantic of when people got married, like the Victorian era. Like there was a level of genuine desire that a female had for a male. Like that is becoming less and more rare too, few in numbers, where there's actual genuine desire on the female side for the male, for her to even be like, hey, like to Chill Dill's point of like, oh, I'm gonna hedge my bet on this man, and I'm gonna commit on this man. Like there's a level of genuine desire that has to be emanating for that woman to be like, to see that in that significant other. However, now it's like that is no longer there. It's just like, what do you have? What do you offer? What do you offer to the table? What do you bring to the table? Which is,
Yeah.
I think, right now in the culture, that's a very popular phrase. What do you bring to the table? And oftentimes it's a man asking to the woman, like, what do you bring to the table as a woman? And it's like, it's not a bad question, but it's becoming more prevalent. It's becoming
Nobody
more,
wants to take risks. We're afraid of like the future us.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We're afraid of the future us. I guess as the generation generalizing. I'm sure I'm guilty of
But
it.
but I don't blame the men though in terms of being cautious. Like I mean, this is another conversation we'll have, but it's like, it's shout out to Rolo Tomasi, but like marriage is an unconscionable contract in 2021. For a man to consider, oh, I'm gonna get married here in 2021 because of love. And I think we spoke about this episode 1 or 2. It's like, it's outlandish and it's crazy for a high value man that knows his worth to,
It's more risk.
yeah, to consider getting married right now in 2021. The risk is just astronomical.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the scale in favor of the woman for sure, 100%. I agree. Yeah, I agree.